Hey Chills crew and everyone new, 𝗂𝗁𝗵𝗏𝘀𝗧𝗏 here. Today I have something different and unique for you. It is a nativity nail art theme that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. However, I just really couldn't figure out how I wanted to do this. So in this case, I went ahead and I went all out. I did gradients, reverse decaling, even did a canvas effect, and I am so excited and happy about this and I can't wait to show you. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So first starting out, we're going to be using Stay Frosted by China Glaze. This is a beautiful icy blue, kind of like metallic-y, somewhat shimmer finish, but it does dry down matte, which is totally fine. I did place 2 coats down because this is such a light color and I'm going to be using a darker pigment to create that gradient. But to do this, basically I need to first layer down the lightest tone of color first. Next, we need to prep our sponges. So here you can see I have a dense cosmetic wedge and there's like this line that's running at the end of it. But however, if I stamp with that, or sponge I should say, what will happen is you'll get that divot that will show up on the nail and I don't want that. So I'm showing you here crappy little scissors, which you do not want to do. So don't do this actually, because you can see how terrible it looks. Instead, you're gonna want to get yourself some big boy scissors, and then that's where you can go ahead and cut it off in just one fell swoop, and it looks so much better, so much smoother. Here you can see that I was showing you like what the small scissors does versus the big scissors. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut in another piece off of this cosmetic wedge, which is the little one, which I'm gonna be using later. Now we're going to be using Scandalous Shenanigans, and this is a beautiful, true navy blue metallic. It's absolutely stunning, and I felt like this would be perfect for that night sky that I want. So I'm going to first go ahead and put down Stay Frosted first, and I'm going to go ahead and put a couple coats of this down because sponge is going to actually absorb this. Now you can do this with a wet sponge, but I prefer more of the dry sponge technique sometimes. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a layer or two of the Scandalous Shenanigans, or that navy blue tone, and then I'm going to carefully just roll it across so that you can see I want to get it like about halfway through the nail. So what I'm going to do is I'm just showing you in real time how I kind of pat and dab this across the nail just so that you can see the effect. Now here's the thing, when you're working in layers like this, you want to dab, 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 and then from there give it about maybe 30 seconds or so, reapply it, let the first coat dry, and you want to work in thin layers. That is the key. Here I'm speeding it up so you can kind of see the process, and I'm just going to go back and forth, back and forth. I think in this case with this nail, I did about 3 to 4 coats, but again, you're working in thin layers, but you want to build it up. And don't try to dab it too much, otherwise you can get sponge stuck in it. Otherwise, I love the look. I love how it started to create that fade and it looked great. Now I'm not done with this gradient, and I wanted to add something a little bit more extra to give it a little bit more oomph. So I used Golden Enchantment by China Glaze. This is the sister to Fairy Dust. So if you have Fairy Dust, you could use it if you'd like to. However, I wanted more of that golden tone because I'm going to be creating that sand effect. So with this, I wanted to have that holographic and the golden, looks like it's stars in the night sky, and I felt like this is fantastic. I love the shimmer within. I will also link a couple others that you might be able to find if you can't find Golden Enchantment. Fairy Dust is still, I think, available. It's more of the staples, honestly, but this is definitely one of my favorites. Now to create our sand, and I'm going to be using Screen Vixen, and this is a beautiful white gold / champagne color. It's absolutely stunning, and it does dry down to a matte finish, but it's not one of those fast drying mattes if you want to wear it just plain on your nails. Now here I'm going to go ahead and use that thin sponge, and this is just basically giving me better control of where I'm going to go ahead and place this down. And the reason why I'm sponging it is basically I want to give an outline of where I'm thinking of placing the polish for the outlining of the dunes. So here I'm going to get a thin, long, like a medium length nail art brush so I have a little bit more control. If it's too short, I don't really have that much control, but if it's too long, then I feel like I don't have enough control over it. It's kind of going all over the place. And so with here, I'm just basically placing this down right next to it. If you don't know this, I actually work off of a glass top, and then from there I have like my sparkly paper underneath, so it's not going to actually ruin the paper, just FYI. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and just go back and forth, and I'm going to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to create these dunes. Now each each nail is going to be a little bit different from the other because I want to kind of give it like it's almost like a landscape or a canvas where it spreads across all 5 of the nails. And so that is exactly what I do when I'm planning it out. I want to have it look like it's like this vast desert, and that's the idea that I had. So I want to make each one a little bit different and how I'm going to place the 3 Kingsmen. And so yeah, basically I kind of start from the bottom and then I work my way to the top, trying to figure out like how high I want the dunes to go. So just to give you an idea, it's not complicated at all. It's actually really fun. And now it does look like there's a little bit of texture, which I actually do like. Now, once that's completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and apply my glitter smoothing top coat, and this is by Glisten and Glow, and this actually helps smooth everything out before I go ahead and I'm going to place down the Kingsmen. And here you can see exactly what I'm talking about, how I kind of want it to look like it's a landscape, a picture, or a canvas where all of the dunes are a little bit different from one another. So the stamping plate I'll be using for this design is going to be Holiday Spirit by Uber Chic Beauty, and it's a beautiful large plate with all these different designs, but I'm mainly going after the nativity scene and the 3 kings. Now I'm going to go after the 3 Kingsmen. So here I'm just going to be using my straight up black, and then I'm going to go ahead and scrape, and then I'm going to be using my sticky stamper that comes out of the 2-in-1 shrinking stamper set. Or you could use a big gummy stamper, it's up to you. Now the thing is, I'm creating decals, and so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using my Wet n Wild clear nail protector, or you could use a regular top coat. So just make sure that it's not a quick drying one because it doesn't really work well when you're creating decals. With this here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut each individual Kingsman and I'm going to place them on a clear stamper head, but I'm going to have to carefully cut around them so that they're super tidy. And you want to get as close as possible to the image so that it looks really nice and almost somewhat seamless when it gets onto the nail when you have to stamp it. So that's why I try to cut as close as possible. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why are you creating decals rather than just putting this on your nail? Now, if I was to put this exact image or what I want to do on my right hand, no, you do not have to create decals. However, because I'm going to be placing this on my left hand and I want the Kingsman to be facing my thumb, I need to reverse the image, so I have to flip the image, and to do so, that's when you create a decal. Making decals may seem like they're pretty complicated, but trust me, it's a really easy process. It just takes a couple extra steps and maybe some waiting, but if you're wanting that mirror image design on the other hand, it's definitely worth taking the time and the investment. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply my sticky base coat, and I'm going to apply a thin coat of this to the nails. And when I'm going to wait for it to become ever so slightly tacky, I'll do the finger test just to kind of see if I can place the stamp down. So again, ever so slightly tacky. It takes about a minute for it to become slightly tacky. And then from there, I can go ahead and place my stamps, and I kind of figure out where I want to place them at. Now I do want to state one real quick thing. If you have just one stamper, do not apply the sticky base coat to all of the nails and then try to place the stamps down one at a time, because by the time that you get to the second nail, the sticky base coat is going to be completely dried. So only do this technique if you're one quick and you have multiple stampers. Now we're going to go ahead and create another decal, but not by choice, but because this phrase, "Let us adore him," is way too wide for my index finger. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and remove adore him and keep the let us to create a decal with that. And then I'm going to go back in again, and I'm going to remove let us and then keep adore him and make a decal out of it. So once both of those are completely dried and they're cut around and everything, I'm now going to place them on a clear stamp, but I'm going to go ahead and arrange them that will actually fit my index finger and how I actually like it. So I'll finesse it, see how I like the lettering, figure out if I have to rearrange anything, I can rearrange it, it's not a problem, and then I can just basically flip it over, and you can see here, this is the final look on what I decided on. And once I have that sticky base coat, I apply a thin coat of it, wait for it to become slightly tacky. I can now go ahead and place the phrase. Now I'm going to go back in with my straight up black, and I'm going to go after this nativity scene here, and I'm going to go ahead and remove that North Star piece because I'm just going to basically place the nativity scene down onto my thumb, or thumb tip I should say, and this is basically where it's going to be placed at. And then I'm going to go in with Bam White for the North Star, and so I chose Bam White because it's nice and bright and white, but it'll also match the lettering from Let Us Adore Him. Now now that everything is completely dried, I can go ahead and put on my smudge-free top coat by 𝘂𝘂𝗔𝗊𝗟𝗔𝗬𝗍. They also have an aqua one. I have not yet tried that out, but I do like my smudge-free top coat, so I'm going to first use this one up. But this is great to make sure that none of your stamping smears. Once my smudge free is completely dried, I can then go ahead and use my glitter grabber by Glisten and Glow. This is a glitter smoothing top coat, but it works fantastic for decals because it makes the nails look almost like they're seamless by the time that you add your final top coat. And so I give it about 10 to 15 minutes for it to dry, and then I can go ahead and apply my final top coat, which I'll be using the Super Chic Lacquer's quick drying top coat. And this stuff really does work wonders. It makes a nice, smooth, glossy, glassy finish, and I can't wait to wear these nails. They just made everything sparkle and pop, especially with that hollow in the background for the night sky. I absolutely love this set. I'm not gonna mattify these. I think they just look too darn beautiful, honestly, where they just have like this beautiful starry look with the sun setting. It just looks absolutely stunning. And there you have it, the final nail art design. I really hope you enjoyed this manicure as much as I did creating it. I had a blast. I think this is one of my favorite manicures. I absolutely love this. And honestly, it makes me want to try to do more of these landscape/canvas nail art pieces where they kind of go across all 5 of the nails. But let me know down below what you thought of this nail design. And if you're thinking about creating something like this, everything that, of course, that I used, I will link down below in the description box or of course in the pinned comment. And I really do hope that you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And with that being said, thank you to all of my subscribers. I am so sorry that my life has been absolutely crazy this year. I wanted to create more nail art content, but life has been an absolute freaking roller coaster for me, and I am ready to get off the ride, honestly. So I'm looking forward to 2024. I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe holiday season, and hopefully with some new beginnings, we can start looking forward to it. I cannot wait to start creating some more interesting new nail art and trying to really think outside the box because I have so many big plans for 2024. So with that being said, if you like nail art, if you like nail related content, don't forget to subscribe, join the Chills crew. Don't forget to click the notification bell. And until then, take care and stay chilly.